Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Chicks and Sticks, Cigars in the Silver Screen. I know it's been a little while that I've been gone, but here we are. We're back, and special.
Welcome back, everybody. We're back. Woo!
And special guest, my son, of course. So this is going to be just a fun introductory, first time back kind of show. We're going to talk about lots of things. So get your comments and questions ready. So, okay. I think we have a lot to talk about, so let's get it started.
Wow. What an intro that was.
I know. So how fancy is that? So
Fancy.
Here's the producer.
Oh, my.
The producer of the intro. So we'll have to talk about the intro a little bit because it was really fun.
We might even have to play it again when we start talking about it.
We might have to play it again and show everyone. I just want to mention that we are live at Ash Lounge here in Hollywood, Los Angeles. Great new lounge, beautiful. So feel really special being here. Looks really pretty.
It's a great location. Yeah.
Lockers.
We're in front of the lockers, so this is like one of the biggest lounges I think I've ever seen. It's just really expansive, really large. There's all kinds of different areas. There's a private room. It's cool, and it's centrally located to all the, magic of Hollywood.
Yeah.
So you can't beat that for a location.
And they have like a secret coffee here that's really delicious. Mm-hmm. And a tea that's really smoky and goes really well with cigars. Mm-hmm. So that's really good. And
it's fun. It's on Hollywood Boulevard, so you can see all the fun stuff that goes on. And if you're in the Hollywood area,
fun stuff that walks by.
Yeah, and if you're in the Hollywood area, it's easy to get to. And it's really great whether you're a local here or if you're coming to town for vacation. It's a great lounge to stop in at. It's all decorated kind of like old Havana Grand Hotel lobby. It's really nice. Yeah.
And he has a couple workstations here. Yeah. So like if you are from out of town, you can come in here and get some work done while you enjoy a cigar or check your email.
Yeah, they have a community of people here that are like, creative types, and they want to be able to enjoy a cigar as they're writing or editing something or, whatever their trade is, and they don't have anywhere to do that. So they can come in here, big monitors, plug in their hard drives. The internet here is, like crazy grade internet. So people can basically do their work just like they're at the office, but they can be here, they can be enjoying a cigar, they can be enjoying lots of great company if they want. And it's a really cool area to kind of work and create and be creative and enjoy some sticks. You can't beat that. Right. You can't beat working and having a stick at the same time.
And he has a really great collection of sticks here, so you don't need to bring your own. You can bring your own, which is unique. That's something that's unique about this lounge. Is most lounges you can't bring your own cigar, but here you actually can.
Yeah.
There would be a cutting fee, which that happens anywhere, right?
Not if you're a member.
But not if you're a member.
Yeah.
If you're a member, you can just bring all the cigars you want on your own. But I think that's really a nice feature. But he has really great cigars here.
Really great sticks here.
Yeah.
Great.
So
I don't think I've ever actually brought a cigar here yet. I always just get the sticks that are here are like perfect. So,
and he's got some house blends, bandless house blends, which are kind of nice, very Cuban-esque. So that's kind of neat too. That he's got those, and then he's bringing in some boutiques. He's getting more and more cigars in here, so that's kind of cool. But you said the magic word cigar. I think we should just light up, and then we'll start talking. Okay, so we're each we don't really have a theme for tonight because this is my first show back in a while, and so I just kind of wanted to chat with you guys. And for people who are watching who are new, I wanted to kind of go over the format and how we do things. So, so it's a little bit loosey goosey, but we're definitely gonna smoke. So, oh yeah,
It's not focusing. Oh. It just wants to focus on us because we're so good looking. Wow. Hey, I brought out another one of my top hats because your audience likes hats so much.
Oh,
it's not a top hat, but one of my best hats because your audience.
I know. We always get.
Although I'm starting to wonder if I've worn this one on this show before, but I can't remember.
I don't know. Anyways. Somebody will let you know if he has, but his hats always get comments. So anyway, so you're smoking the La Gianna.
Mm-hmm.
I'm smoking, so I want to show this one before I cut it because it has this really cool little label at the bottom. See if I can get the glare off of it. That super cool bracelet I made. Okay, it has a really cool band at the bottom. It is a Tobacconist Association of America limited exclusive. This is kind of, I consider this my signature cigar, the La Polina, and it is the silver label, which I have not smoked yet. I've had the La Polina black label several times, but not the silver. So, that was a tiny little cut. Let's see if it works.
We almost need to get a second camera to point towards, like, have a window cam. Because someone just walked by, we could have referenced and then, like, cut to the window cam. Look at this guy walking by. There's a very dapper, tall, skinny guy walking by. He's very dapper.
They don't call it Holly Weird for no reason. Keep Holly Weird.
The Boulevard cam.
The Boulevard.
There, now we're back.
Yeah, we're live. Hi, we're back. Sorry. Next time I won't touch that part of the computer.
Don't touch the computer.
Okay, so I was on vacation the last couple of days, and I smoked so many cigars by the pool.
Where were you on vacation at?
I went to Morongo Casino and Spa in the desert.
Wow.
That's my happy place during COVID.
Uh-huh.
So I couldn't go anywhere during COVID, but I could go there. And there's no people, and they don't allow kids. So it's like, I don't know, it's probably like 25% capacity during COVID and no children. And so, you know, you can be in the pool, drinking, floating, smoking, no kids. So I love that. So I've been there for 3 days with my girlfriends, causing trouble.
Nice.
And our floaties had glitter in them. So everybody at Morongo who was staying there at the same time we were, who were in the pool, called us the Glitter Girls.
Oh my.
So we were all decked out. We had a different suit for every day. We had fancy sunglasses.
Was that a compliment though?
We had drinks. Oh yeah, they were like, God, you people from Hollywood. We were like, yeah, as a matter of fact.
LA County.
Close enough. Long Beach.
Yeah.
LBC. But anyway.
Long Beach.
Long Beach.
For those of you that don't live in this area, Morongo Casino is running this commercial right now that is so highly produced, and it's like this these two people on this big spaceship flying through space, and it's so. But I mean, it looks like J.J. Abrams. Every time the first couple times I thought it was a preview for like a Star Wars movie or something.
Filmed at Morongo.
And then it tracks in, and they press like this button, and they go to Morongo, and it's just like they must have spent some money on that ad. I mean, it's very highly produced, very slick and stylized. Like It doesn't showcase the casino at all, so I'm not sure what the thinking was behind that. But
Interesting.
yeah.
I don't know. We met a lot of people who are just there for the pool because the pool's so awesome.
For
It's
the
a lazy river.
Yeah.
And so you just get on this floaty and you're just like, I mean, literally we're on that thing for 5 hours. Well, you have to get out to pee. We don't pee in the pool. But yeah, you just get out on there and float. And so you tell the bartender, this is what I'm drinking. And he comes over and he sets the glasses by the side of the pool. So as you float around, he like watches for you and then he sets them down. As you go by, you just scoop. And off you go with your drink.
It's a pretty fast lazy river.
And so I drank a lot.
Hey, you have some comments.
And I smoked a lot. Like a lot. Top intro, Kyle said. Hi, Kyle, and thank you. Maybe we should talk about that intro.
Okay.
Oh, Amy said glitter girls rule. She's a glitter girl. Yeah, so let's talk about the intro. Okay. So, for those of you who watched the show before, I was part of Cigar Enthusiasts Network. And I just want to give him a shout out because he really gave me my start. He really thought that I would be good at having a show, and I had no idea. So he took his chance on me, and, it worked out where I don't know if you guys like it, but I like it. Yeah. I have a lot of fun. So that was really great. And he really has supported me going out on my own. And
we met him in Vegas, and he introduced us to a bunch of people, and he's just an awesome guy in person. I mean, I think you can tell on his social media he's a cool guy, but then when you actually meet him in person, he's like even more cool and, wants to talk and just very sincere.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
And was just super supportive of me going out on my own and not upset or anything. But be sure and check out the Cigar Enthusiast Network on YouTube. He's got kind of a neat thing where he has a different host each night of the week. So kind of they each have a different, style to their show. So that's kind of fun. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, and some of my old shows are still up there, and there were some really good ones.
Yeah.
Right?
I would say so.
Even I did some really great ones, and they're on Cigar Enthusiasts. They're still posted, so you can go there and look at them.
Dare we say they were all good shows that are still
exactly. And so then, for those of you who are watching, you know how this works. YouTube is going to be watching how many subscribers I have to my channel. So please subscribe to Chix and Sticks on YouTube. It's no big deal. It's just like whenever the show comes around, it will notify you that I'm going live. That's it. No phone calls, no emails, no knock on the door. So go and subscribe and help me out. So I get more subscribers, and then I get more perks from YouTube. So yeah. So
the opening.
The opening. So anyways, since I went out on my own platform, I was like, I need an opening. And so, I had to come up with music that wasn't copyrighted. So that was kind of fun.
That's original Chix and Stick music right there. We're not taking credit for making the music,
no.
But that is our music.
No, and I want to give a shout out to Mike G, who helped me get music made. So it's not a quiet intro.
Mike G, if you're watching out there, if you have the name of the artist that made the music,
he's in the lounge.
Is he really? Where is he? There's several people here, so I'm trying. Oh, here he comes. He's walking over right now.
There he comes.
Wow, what a surprise! Hey, look at this.
So the artist is Addy Batty. He's on Instagram, ADDYBADDY. He's a fellow cigar smoker, musician,
cool.
And he really came through with this. I gave him some idea, and Paula listened to some tracks, went back and forth, and came up with something that I think hits really well. I mean, man, with the video footage you guys shot, ooh, caliente.
Nice.
Anyway, I'll let you guys do your show, but yes.
Okay.
Well, we might bug you again. We'll see. I didn't know you were here. Oh my God.
I'm just chilling.
He snuck in.
I'm always lurking.
Above me.
He's very light on his feet. He tiptoes around. You can't hear him.
Yeah.
We have to get him a little collar belt so we can hear when Mike's here.
Yeah. It was really great. It was really fun to film the intro.
We filmed it all in Hollywood, pretty much.
All in one day. So we came down here and we really wanted to capture some iconic spots. So the scene of me, people may not know, but the scene of me sitting on the stairs, on the red stairs, that's the stairs where the Academy Awards are.
Yes, at the Dolby Theater on Hollywood and Highland.
Yeah.
And, you know, they shut down Hollywood Boulevard for the Oscars and have the big tent with the media and the swag bags.
They put red carpet on the street.
Then when they're done with that, they go from the street up the sidewalk. Of course, this is all covered in red carpet, so it's not a street and sidewalk. But they go into the Dolby Theater, and there's this mall, which you also don't see during the broadcast, but there's these beautiful red steps that go up to the entrance of the theater, and it's very iconic. They have these really cool pillars if you ever go there and visit, and it has every single best picture from every year on these pillars. They're all lit up, and it has the year and which picture is won. So, and
it's really interesting because you think you know a lot, and then you read those pillars, and you're like, I had no idea that one won best picture.
Photo, yeah,
it's really cool. It's really cool to read them, and
you know, there's a Hard Rock Cafe there, and there's some really cool stores, and it's right across from like. My gosh. It's next door to the Chinese theater, but it's across the street from the Disney, the El Capitan Theater, which is owned and operated by Disney. Jimmy Kimmel films across the street. So it's a very happening area. So if you ever come to Hollywood, go to those red stairs. Every Oscar-nominated person has walked up those stairs. So you can ooh and ah at that.
Remember, we stood on the red carpet above those stairs when Johnny Depp walked by for a Pirates of the Caribbean premiere.
Oh my gosh.
And I yelled really loud, Johnny! And he looked up and gave us a wave. Remember?
They had a blue carpet. It was for the most recent film. It was for the Dead Men Tell No Tale, the most recent film.
They
had a blue carpet,
which was pretty cool.
And it was Disney run. It's this third-party security company that Disney uses at all their events. And those guys are freaking assholes. Remember how?
Yes.
I mean, they are like. I guess because they don't have a Disney name tag on, they're like, we don't have to have good PR. I mean, they are rude
militant
guys.
Like you can't stand here, and it's like, guess what? I've been standing here 9 hours for the sun to get a glimpse of somebody, and I'll stand here if I want to.
And they just make like rude comments, and like
I'm sure
they won't like
people.
They won't let little old ladies go to the bathroom. It's like, you can't walk this way, but I'm 95 and crippled, and I have to go to the bathroom. No, you can't go this. I mean, they're really tough guys. So
true.
So we filmed there. We filmed on the Walk of Fame, which was cool.
In front of the Roosevelt Hotel. We wanted to film inside the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. It's so historic, and it's such an old, beautiful hotel. And when we first moved here, we started going there as a family. And there's a great little cafe bar there that's open 24 hours.
It's called 25 Degrees, and they have some really good burgers. But what do they have? And
they have Banana Foster's rum shakes.
Yeah, they have spiked milkshakes. They have a Guinness milkshake. They have they have really good
one
spiked
that's like
shakes.
a chocolate and cherry with some kind I can't remember what the liqueur is in that one, but I mean, really good food. So and the Hollywood Roosevelt is where they had the Oscars the first few years. When they started back in I assume the 20. I don't know when they started. I should, but they started at the Hollywood Roosevelt. The Hollywood Roosevelt still has a few film festivals. They must have been at the Biltmore too, because we've gone to the Biltmore a couple times, and they have big photos up on the wall that show the old Academy Awards.
Well, the Academy Awards were only at the Roosevelt for a short amount of time, and they quickly outgrew that space. The hotel's not that big, and I think they quickly outgrew the space. But Hollywood Roosevelt's in a lot of. I mean, it was featured in Entourage a lot. It's been in a lot of. There's a lot of movies that film there and don't even show it as the Hollywood Roosevelt. You wouldn't even know. In fact, one of the reasons. There were a couple of reasons we couldn't film there. One of them was there was a huge production filming there that day. Yeah. I mean, and I know the difference between like a series this was a feature film, and we show up with our little camera. I've got my
clothes, my changing clothes in a little bag. And there's like all these film trucks.
It was huge. So
security, and we couldn't go in the lobby, and part of that was COVID too.
They have these really great pool parties in the summer. You can you don't have to be staying there. You can just pay to get in. They have these epic pool parties with DJs and a lot of
and
celebrities.
it's basically for the women, it's the smallest suit you can possibly put on and still be saying you're wearing a suit.
Yeah. They have all these really cool bars. So you can go to the Hollywood Roosevelt and bar hop. They have a old kind of game themed bar. It has a bowling alley on the second level, and it looks out over the Chinese theater, and there's all kinds of like tabletop games, and you can get drinks there. They had this other bar right next to the entrance that I think now might be permanently closed, but it was kind of this cool stone cave, kind of Spanish style chandeliers and stuff. I'm missing a bar. There's even another.
Well, are you talking about that little tiny one that looked like it looks like an old cigar lounge?
That one's still open. There's this old like man cave. It has like trophy animals everywhere.
Looks like a man's cigar.
And that bar doesn't have a menu. You just tell them, right? That's their whole thing is there's no menu. There's no drink menu.
You just say what kind of liquor you like. You can ask for a certain drink, but otherwise you can just say, I like rum, and they'll make you something.
And
really exotic.
They didn't renovate their lobby, even though it says they did, but they basically, the lobby used to just kind of be open seating, just hang out. It's still the same style, it's still the same art in the lobby, but now it's an actual like bar, so they still have couches and stuff, so you can lounge there. And they've only been open like a couple weeks, and cocktails and appetizers. And it's actually where I proposed to my fiance 3 weeks ago. So
yeah, that was just going to say, now it has more meaning to you too, because you just proposed there.
Yes, I got engaged there. So
yeah, so that will always be cool. Yes. Oh, there's John. Hi, John. The bald hippie, see?
Oh, there's a lot of comments.
Thanks for jumping on. Gosh. That's very nice. Yeah, we need to look a little more. Love the opening. Gibson, you're so talented. See, it's fun to watch you. He really is, so... He really guided me. Stand here. Oh, but that was funny too. We did some shooting here at Ash Lounge. Some of those pictures that are in that room where I'm sitting on the tables and stuff. And it was so funny because he wanted to get shots of me with smoke coming out of my mouth, and he was just doing a continuous take. So he would be like, puff, puff, puff. I'd have to blow out the smoke. Puff, 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 blow out the smoke. And, at the end of the day, I ended up smoking like 4 cigars. But, like, in there, I was, like, puffing just constantly. So by the end of the day, I was kind of like, I don't think I'm going to have a cigar for a day or two.
We are at the 5400 block on Hollywood Boulevard. So their address is, like, 5403 or 5404.
This is Thai Town, so this is considered Thai Town. So there's a lot of Asian restaurants and Thai food, really good food, really good Thai restaurant right next door.
Yep.
And they'll just deliver and bring it over here. So that's super fun.
We filmed in front of a classic tourist shop on Hollywood Boulevard too that has the big golden Oscar statues.
Those big golden Oscars.
That's one of those stores where there's like everything's $5 kind of a place.
And they're bigger than and it's like shot glasses, t-shirts, tank tops, flip-flops, everything says Hollywood on them, If you're visiting and you go in there, you can buy that stuff and take it home and wear it. But if you live here, God forbid you should ever have any of that on. People will just be like, oh my God.
So, of course, Hollywood Boulevard is full of people trying to take you on celebrity tours or like studio tour, blah, 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 right? And so they're just out there trying to hustle like CDs and there's all this gimmicky stuff to get these tourists, right? So when we first started coming here, of course, harass us. And then once we lived down here a while, we noticed we'd go to Hollywood Boulevard and none of those guys would talk to us. Yeah. We were so proud of ourselves.
We look like locals.
We look like locals. Well, when we showed up a couple weeks ago with our camera, they were all back on us again. Yeah. Hey, do you want to take a tour? I'm like, I guess if you show up with a camera, you look like a tourist. So, so we did venture out from Hollywood Boulevard a little bit to film.
we went to Paramount and filmed in front of the Paramount gates.
Which unfortunately none of that footage ended up making the final cut, but
Yeah.
it might still very likely appear in something down the road. But
Yeah.
we got some cool stuff around Paramount Studios.
I can use it in little videos or something like that. Unfortunately, the original Paramount Studio gates are further back.
Mhm.
They've extended out. There's now like the little security, what do you call it?
Gate.
Gate,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And a gate out front. So that's kind of the new gate, and the original Paramount gates are in the back. But we did film them.
Paramount's one of the oldest studios. They're over 100 years
Yeah.
old.
And isn't that the gates that everybody rubs something?
They
All the
have
factors?
this beautiful fountain and then these beautiful gates with the Paramount arch. And yeah, pretty much anybody that works in the biz has touched those gates. So that's the thing. When you go through the gates, you're supposed to kind of leave your handprint, leave your fingerprint on them. And I guess it's like a pretty legit thing. Like everybody who's worked there or has been on a tour there who is big in Hollywood has been like, yep, I touched the gates. It's kind of like the one thing in Hollywood everyone has done.
Is that the studio lot that has the bench,
the Forrest Gump.
the
bench.
Forrest Gump bench?
So for
you can
those of you
sit-
who want to come to Hollywood and take a studio tour, there's several options. Universal Studios is obviously a working production studio connected to a theme park. We've done all the tours. And the Universal Studio one is fun. It's very fun, but it's very, very stylized, very theme parky, still cool. Warner Brothers Studio has a...
I think Paramount was my favorite.
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Oh,
Warner
okay.
Brothers Studios has a tour, but it's also very like you go on the Friends set, you take a photo. You go to this Harry Potter set, you take it. Blah, 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 blah. Paramount Studios was like the last studio we took a tour at, and I mean, you feel like you're in the way of people working.
People are carrying giant trees past you.
There were several times where our guide actually like had to pull over or back up the cart because there are huge trucks or like big Escalades coming through, and like security like, get that cart out of the way. And remember, he even bumped into other carts on the back lot because it was so. You feel like you're at a working. We saw cameras,
and they are working. They are shooting
Right.
shows currently while you're taking the tour, so that's kind of fun. So you really kind of see,
And the guide even said, they kind of do everything off of iPad, like all these video clips, and he's like, because of the work that goes on at the studio, we have no set route. So you could go do that tour multiple times and see different stuff. Whereas the Warner Brothers and the Universal one, you hit the same talking points.
Oh my God.
every
And then
time.
the greatest thing happened on that tour was like, we got done with the tour, and remember we had to separate.
Yeah,
For some reason, you were in the tour behind me.
we didn't live down here yet.
Yeah.
And so we got stuck in LA traffic, which we weren't accustomed to.
Yeah.
We were late to our tour.
And so he took the tour behind me.
Mhm.
So when the tour got done, they were like, you can go into this souvenir, like there was a souvenir shop
Gift
and there was
shop,
a
lunch
coffee
shop.
shop.
Yeah.
And you could go into the souvenir shop, but you weren't supposed to go into the coffee shop or something. Anyway, I missed the memo. And so when we were done with the tour, I just went into the coffee shop and I got a coffee, and I had to wait about 45 minutes for him. So I got a coffee, I went in the back, sat down on a couch, drinking my coffee, got my stuff. These people are coming in and they're like, they have scripts and they're like talking to each other. And, I'm just like, wow, this is really authentic. I mean, I'm in the same coffee shop as, the people who work here.
Yeah.
And then it turns out when I came out of the coffee shop, they're like, you weren't supposed to be in there. And it's like, and there was an outside courtyard with some tables, and it was like,
You were supposed to
I saw somebody sitting out there, like Jennifer Aniston or somebody was sitting at the table out there. I'm like, wow, like they really let you get close to these people.
Yeah, I think Paramount has if you're going to come here and do one studio tour, you're into that, go to the Paramount one. It has the most history. It's the most, puts you in the middle of the action, wouldn't you say?
Mhm.
And it's the most beautiful studio. I mean, because it's so
Absolutely.
old, and I mean, they have beautiful landscaping there. The other studios look just like big warehouses, but this one really has some beautiful architecture.
And the Universal one was, that one was okay. You have to do the behind the scenes.
You have to pay to get into the theme park, and then you have
Yeah.
to pay extra if you actually want. They have like an attraction that goes through the studios, but if you want to like get out and see the prop house, and we went on the Conan O'Brien set at the time, that we had to pay extra for.
And
Still a cool tour.
And the
though.
prop house was amazing.
The prop house was cool.
Yeah, we went on this tour. We got out, went into the prop house, and in the prop house, it's like aisle, like you just look down at. It's just a huge warehouse, and it's just all these metal shelving, right? And you look down an aisle, and here it's just like all glassware and silverware, and so
all separated by color: green, 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 blue, blue, blue,
oh,
pink,
like
pink,
vases.
pink, clear, clear, clear.
You need a vase. Okay, here's green vases of all shapes and
Very
sizes.
organized.
Blue vases of all shapes and sizes. Yellow vases. But that one aisle with the dishes and the silverware, you know, when you walk down, you're like Titanic.
Yeah.
Like all this crap was in Titanic.
Yeah.
Then there's like an area with chandeliers, like any chandelier shape, size you can imagine. And there was a lady there, and she had like a basket and a clipboard, and she's like, you know, checking off
What she
walking
needed.
up and down the aisles, picking out stuff for film. So that's really kind of the fun. I think that's kind of a fun part of film is the creatives behind
Absolutely.
the scenes doing all that stuff. And it was really fun to see. And,
So after we filmed at Paramount, we filmed at
we went to Hollywood Forever Cemetery, which is also like one of our favorite places. We go there quite a bit.
the Hollywood Forever Cemetery shares the same space as Paramount. So it's this huge square block. I mean, it's a massive plot of land. Half of it's the cemetery, half of it's Paramount Studios, which is cool.
Yeah. And when you're in the cemetery, you can see the Paramount Water Tower and the back of the studio buildings. And they didn't like us filming there, though.
So you used to, I mean, when we take all of our friends and family that come into town to Hollywood Forever, because it's
Take
open
all
to the
these
public, of course, at the
pictures.
cemetery. You can go around, you could spend, they have peacocks there that you can go
A
see,
lake.
and a lake, and it used to just be really open and fun, and it was not that way when we filmed there. It was, because,
They came up to us and they were like, "Are you doing a photo shoot?" And we were like, "Maybe."
well, I said, no, we're not, we're just we're just tourists.
Oh yeah,
and we're
you
taking,
lied. I was
we're
like,
taking photos. I mean, we're from out of town. We're taking photos. And he's like, well, are you going to post them on your Facebook account? And I'm like, well, yeah, we want to show our friends that we're here in LA. Well, you're going to have to get that approved. I was just like, oh my God. Jeez.
Yeah. Anyway, it was like too late. We already
Yeah, we already shot
it.
everything. So
And there is a
we
shot.
filmed
There
it.
is a shot of that in the intro.
yeah.
It's I'm just sitting on a mausoleum, the steps of a mausoleum. So the doors behind me are like these metal scrolly doors. So I'm smoking a cigar. So that shot is in the Hollywood Forever Cemetery.
I think we should unofficially pre-announce that during the Day of the Dead event, we will do some type of a cigar live stream from our altar.
Oh,
That'd be
yeah.
cool.
Every year for Dia de los Muertos,
Yeah.
we set up a altar, and we've done it 3 years, and then they didn't do it last year because of COVID. Hopefully,
It's the largest celebration in the U.S. Is at
That's
the
right,
Hollywood Forever
outside of
Cemetery.
Mexico. Outside of Mexico, not even in the U.S.
Oh, outside of
It is
Mexico.
the largest
Outside of
celebration
Mexico. Yeah.
of Day of the Dead outside of Mexico,
They pump.
and it's getting bigger and bigger every year. There's
I think
more
they
and
get
more.
like 500,000 people in through 2
Yeah.
days. I mean, it's a huge.
It is
event.
it's one of those things that is worth traveling here for.
Yeah.
It's always the Saturday right before Halloween
Mhm.
because that holiday starts
It's
at
a
midnight on the 31st.
It's a 2-day event though.
Yeah.
It's
But-
in the day.
But they can't do it during the week, so they always do it the weekend that's closest to Halloween.
Yeah.
And it is a 2-day event, and they have music. They set up a huge stage, and they have contemporary Latina music. And
Well, they get huge. I mean,
Huge
I'm not
people.
familiar with that type of music or that music scene, but I mean, some people go to that event just to see the
Just
musical
for the-
acts because
just
they
for the
get
bands.
huge
Yeah.
people.
and they have food that's like incredibly
really great
delicious.
food. People's costumes are amazing
Yeah.
because they're either in that culture and have been for many generations, or they're people from Hollywood that are professional costume designers and go there in their costumes. And,
Yeah.
And then there's the altar builds, which are just
So
some
people
of them.
come and they set up an altar, and there's a contest.
Mhm.
They judge them, and they're just set up. So how there's roads that go through a cemetery.
Yeah.
They just set up just up on the grass. So they're kind of, these altars are all within, like among the gravestones, and it's a really cool event. They have these Aztec feather dancers who come out and dance.
Drummers.
And that's what I was going to say about
performers.
this. This is a thing. It's like going to New Orleans and seeing
Gras,
and going to Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
This would be a destination event.
Yeah.
It's kind of like life altering.
Oh, it's a spiritual event. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's one thing during
yeah.
the day. There's all this cool stuff, but at night, the whole vibe changes.
Yeah.
And you really almost feel these spirits walking among you, and it's really moving, and it's a really welcoming community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have an altar. I don't have any Latin heritage in me whatsoever, and they absolutely never asked me twice. Like,
in fact,
I want to do an altar.
People that run the
great.
festival are ecstatic when
Yeah.
people from other cultures come to do it, because they're like, we want to expand our celebration, and we want as many cultures involved as. They're a really open community, really nice. And I think we did kind of maybe make it sound like it's a big party, and it is a celebration feel, but it is very.
It is also
there
honoring.
There is a serious note,
Yes.
and that respectful note, I guess I should
honoring people who've passed
Yeah.
on, and the tradition of that is that one day a year, loved ones can cross across. There's a bridge that happens, and it's a meta. I don't know what I want to say. It's a bridge that happens when you remember your loved ones who have passed away, and it allows them this portal that allows them to come back to Earth for 24 hours. So that's why Day of the Dead starts at midnight, goes to midnight the next day. It starts on the 31st at midnight, goes to the next day. During that time, the spirits can walk back and forth between this world and their world. And it's a very, it is a very spiritual feeling. It's really, people are partying. I mean, people are all in costumes. You can't tell who anybody is. It's like carnival. You're
Absolutely.
just weaving through this crowd of people, and they're nodding at you and waving, and you have no idea who they are. It's a bucket list thing.
The cool thing about the altars is anyone can build an altar there. You just have to basically reserve your spot. It doesn't have anything to do with people that have plots there. So you have people that come in and build an altar maybe to like a movement. Like there might be a Black Lives Matter, or an altar for, a musical group or something like that. So you'll have people that do that. You'll have people that come in and build an altar to their entire family or to one specific family member. Some people's altars are extremely elaborate, huge,
and
big,
very artistic. And then others are really
very simple, but still really impactful. Like
and you can tell, like
yeah.
a lot, you can see the story. Like when you look at somebody's altar, you can see the story. There's people who've been shot, murdered, shot.
Died at the hands of police brutality.
People who died in car crashes, and they kind of tell the story. They have pictures of the people, and if you stand there and look at the altars, you can really see the story. And
the people that go to this event really do look at all the altars. I mean, when we have ours, some people will spend 5 to 10 minutes looking
just
at
standing
ours,
there.
ask us questions. They want to, get up close and look at things. How does this item relate to that person? Or, people really take it seriously and really get into it, which I think is really cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And like before we started having an altar, we researched the whole thing to make sure that we had the traditional elements that are really necessary for an altar, the things that you're supposed to have. There are things that symbolize certain things.
You can't just go and set up whatever you want. There are some rules to follow in tradition, and then also the event has a theme every year, which they also like for you to incorporate some aspects. So there is a lot of wiggle room to do what you want, but there are some traditional things you have to have as part of the celebration in your altar, and then every year there is a theme that the event likes you to somehow tie some items into.
Want.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
it's really cool. So that's something I think people should put on their bucket list. Like see the Grand Canyon. Yeah, that's cool. But this
really cool.
This should be right up there on that list. list.
And then we filmed here at Ash. That was our last location.
Yeah.
So we filmed some stuff around that room that we're sitting in now. We filmed some stuff around in here, and then we used the Illuminati Lounge, which is the private room that you can rent out. They also have movie screenings on Saturdays.
Members though get to use that room for free.
Okay, so if you're a member, you can
have
book
a private
the room
party
for
in
free.
there for free. And there's also a large screen in there. And on Saturdays here at Ash, they show a film.
Mm-hmm.
Every Saturday they show a film. So that's why it was kind of like neat for me to do my show from there, because it's kind of a Chix and Sticks kind of thing.
So that's our new opening. Yay!
So that's our new opening. All right. Okay, so I want to talk about the cigar that I'm smoking. It is so delicious.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the La Polina silver label.
Yes.
It's made at the Plasencia factory in Honduras.
Mhm.
It is a Cuban seed wrapper.
Mhm.
And the binder is Costa Rican. And then the fillers are long fillers from Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Honduras.
Okay.
It's made into a Toro shape.
Okay.
It's the strongest of the La Polina line. So it's the most potent cigar of the La Polina line. It's very dark. I mean, you can see it's very dark.
Mhm.
And because it's really close to my name, I always consider it kind of my signature cigar, La Polina.
Mhm.
I really like it. Anyway, I was smoking it, and they said it's the strongest in their line. I was expecting it to be super strong.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling like it's super strong.
Okay.
I'm kind of feeling like it's a medium strong.
Mhm.
Maybe it'll get stronger down at the end.
Mhm.
But what's really delicious about this is it has this like dark and lightness to
Ooh,
it,
cool.
like a good and evil.
Uh-huh.
So it tastes like soil. So it has
Okay.
this earthy soil flavor.
Okay. Nice.
It has a charred wood, kind of a smoky charred wood flavor, I would say.
Okay.
Really dark, and pepper, but not overwhelming pepper. Because
Okay.
I don't like a lot of pepper. There's
Yeah.
it's actually, I think that I taste the earthiness, and the charred wood is stronger than the pepper even.
Yeah. Cool.
But then on the flip side, it has this like sweet molasses and a floral to it.
Wow. There's a lot going on there.
Especially
My
if you
goodness.
retrohale, then you really get the floral. So it has this really nice, kind of like teeter-totter, both sides, kind of this heavy dark and then this light sweet, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now tell me about your cigar. Anyway, it is delicious. I would totally recommend this. Delicious.
So I'm having how did you say it? Gianna? How did you say it?
La
before?
Gianna,
Gianna.
I would say.
So it's a Maduro. It's a medium cigar. It has Honduran tobacco. It's hand rolled in Nicaragua. And Perdomo makes it. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. It's really earthy,
Okay.
nutty,
Okay.
and I would say some coffee flavor. Now I am drinking coffee with it,
Well, that would complement
but
it.
I think
Cold
that's
coffee, though. You're drinking cold coffee.
yes. Not a lot of pepper, which for a medium cigar, sometimes because I'm a light cigar smoker,
Mhm.
right? I like a lighter cigar, so sometimes mediums can go either way. So I can definitely tell it's a bit stronger than a light cigar, but it's not.
Okay.
It's definitely a true medium. If you don't want a strong cigar, but you don't want a light cigar, this is a great in between.
Okay.
I'm getting good, strong flavors, but it's not like too much for me. Great smoke. The smoke on it's just been great,
Is it?
which both you and I both love.
We
smoke,
like a lot
so,
of smoke, and we like how's the draw?
Draws really nice.
Okay.
It's a really nice build. I mean, I haven't had any issues with it. It's nice and firm. It's a
Well,
really
and
nice
Perdomo.
cigar.
You're
Yeah.
that's going to be a nice cigar. Same
Yeah.
thing with Plasencia.
Do you have a movie pairing for your cigar?
I do. So let's
Okay.
explain to everybody, in case you're a new viewer, that's what I do on this show is I do cigar reviews. That's why it's called Chix and Stick Cigars in the Silver Screen. Is I do a cigar review. It's always a different cigar, and then I do a film pairing. So much like a cigar has a journey, it has a taste profile that's kind of takes you through the cigar, and I think tells a story in a way. So does a film.
Okay.
And a cigar is about the length of a film, and so it's like a perfect pairing. Because a lot of people pair drinks and alcohol or whatever with cigars, but not everybody pairs them with films. So that was my idea.
And a cigar and a film usually have about the same run time, smoke time.
About an hour and a half.
It's a great activity, especially if you're able to smoke inside your house, so you don't have to worry about it. But a lot of people now have TVs on their back patio, and it's fun to watch a movie outside at night, and you can have a cigar with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pair my film, the La Polina, with the, I would say, I don't know this for sure, but I'm going to say it's 1940. The movie, it's black and white. I mean, maybe there's a colorized version.
There is.
Don't watch it.
There is.
There is? No, watch the black and white.
Watch the black and white for sure.
It's called Gaslight, and it's with Ingrid Bergman and Charles Boyer. And her character in the movie, her name is Paula. But what I love is that Charles Boyer says, Paula, Paula, that's how he pronounces her name. Isn't that great? It's very sexy. Anyway, it is, so if you've ever heard of the term, when you gaslight somebody, it's like you start to make them think they're crazy.
Right.
So they put something down somewhere and you remove it or put it somewhere else, or you get rid of it and they think they've lost it. And so he's, Charles Boyer is, I'm not going to give too much away, but he is this person who is gaslighting her. So he's kind of like the darkness in this cigar, the charred oak, the evil, the bad side. And then this molasses and this floral is really her. And it's 1940, but I think it's set more like, I would say the film is set more like turn of the century.
I'm pretty sure it's not. It's not set when it came out.
Right, because she wears big gowns with like the.
And I don't think there's cars in the movie.
No.
There's horse-drawn carriages.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's like turn of the century, and that's why it's so beautiful.
And they don't have electricity. They have gas, but not electricity. So it's definitely not set when it came out. Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe that the term gaslighting somebody came from the movie. It did not exist before.
No way. You think so?
Yes. Because that's the whole thing in the movie. He goes up in the attic and he's rummaging around. And when he turns the gas up in the attic, the gas goes down in the house. And so everything gets darker. And she's like, why did the gas go down? So, back in the olden days, in houses where they had gas, if you turned the gas on in the kitchen, the gas would go down in the living room. So it's like a steady flow going through the house. But if you turn it on in one room, it's going to go down in the other room. So when the gas goes down, meaning the lights go down, she's like asking, the housekeeper's not there. There's nobody else in the house to turn the gas on in another room. She's like, what's going on? She starts to think the house is haunted. She has no idea what's going on.
So I have the official answer on the claim you made.
You're basically. Am I
wrong? You're essentially right.
Okay.
So the term is derived from the 1938 British stage play Gaslight, which was adapted into a feature film 2 years later. So it comes from that story. Absolutely. Okay. So yeah. Well, I had no idea. I figured that was already a term, and that's why they titled it.
Well, one reason, not only is it a good story and it's like a mystery, and if you like old films, it's really good. But I'm an Ingrid Bergman fan, but her acting in this film is amazing. And there's times where she's not saying anything. It'll be like 60 seconds on her face, and you just watch her facial expression change from one thing to another, and you're just like, oh my God. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Cool.
classic acting. It'd be a really good date movie.
Yeah.
Just kind of like it'd be a really good movie, like even, or, in front of a fire.
Yeah.
With this cigar and
Love it.
yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that's
Good
my
pairing.
pairing.
Good, Mike.
Okay, now what about you? Do you have a pairing?
I do have a pairing. I'm pairing with a movie that just came out last year, so that's good. You have the old eye than me as far as film release.
Okay, good.
So I'm pairing it with a film that Tom Hanks stars in. It was Oscar nominated. It's called News of the World. You didn't see it. I don't think you've seen it.
I haven't seen it.
It's a Western that came out last year. And he is a person that they used to have back in the olden days
Mm-hmm.
that would go around and read the news to all these towns, right? Before
Oh.
things were published and
Okay.
sent around via newspaper, these centralized guys
They would just stand on a corner and.
they would be hired by the town's church or city hall to come in. Maybe not hired, but they would show up and say, "Hey, I have a newspaper from New York City. It's 1 month old. I'd like to read it for a fee," right? And then everyone in town can come
Okay.
in and pay a penny or whatever and hear what the news is.
Especially
from.
because some people couldn't read back then.
Well, and out west, they were totally disconnected from
Yeah.
the goings-ons of the country. So
Yeah, I can see that. That's really cool.
So that's his job, and along the way, he. I also, since it is a movie, I'd like you guys to see. That I'm not going to give it away, but he falls into taking care of this young girl that has had something horrible happen to her and her family, and he becomes the girl's chaperone, and things get more complex from there. And things ensue, but it's this really great quote unquote road trip movie, but they're in a wagon.
Okay.
And it's a lot of the movie does not take place in a Western town. A lot of the movie takes place in their covered wagon, out on the prairie. So that's kind of my earthy, there's lots
Yeah.
of shots of them sitting in tall grass and tall hay. There's a big thing in the movie that he always has to have his coffee. They don't have they don't have a lot of like food and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then he also acquires this kid that's traveling with him. So then his, and he's like, well, all I really have to sustain myself is coffee. And yeah, just kind of the nuts, they're really eating bare to the bone, kind of like nuts and, like dried meat and stuff like that. So, and the movie is really, it's not a lot of like high-tane action, there's not a bunch of like gunfights and all this, but it's also not super slow. There is some action to it. So it's kind of a medium-paced movie, which I think is great for the medium cigar. There's a little intensity there, a little spice there. But the thing that's cool about the movie is, we always watch these Western movies and shit happens every single day. I'm not sure Western life was quite that intense.
Yeah, right.
You really get the idea that it took them several days to travel to the next place where something intense would happen.
Yeah.
There was a lot of travel time back then where very little was happening.
Yeah.
And the movie kind of touches on that very well, which I think this cigar is very steady, very medium. So I think it pairs well. Yeah. News of the World. Check it out. It's
News of the
good.
World.
And Tom Hanks as as this
When did
cowboy
it come
guy.
out?
Last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then it was in this year's Oscars. It did not win anything, there were better movies nominated than it, but it definitely deserved a nomination. It was a great film.
Yeah,
so.
it's definitely something to watch. It
Yeah.
sounds
The
really
production
cool. I
design
think it
is
sounds-
amazing. I mean, if you like Western cowboy stuff, just watch it for the costumes and the tools and the wagons is amazing. So,
Sounds super cool.
yeah.
Nice. So those are good pairings. This is so delicious. I'm like pleasantly shocked.
So should we catch up? We have more comments than I've ever seen on here.
Oh, but I thought we got.
Well, we
most of
answered
them.
some. So let's start.
Love the opening. Love your show, Gibson. You're amazing.
Look at that. Look at all the love.
I know, tons of love. Kyle
Hey.
jumped in the pool, but he's still listening.
Wow. How's the pool, Kyle?
Yeah, no kidding.
Sounds like some people.
So here
we
he
go.
said the La Familia. The gold, the silver, absolutely love the black label. That's my favorite. And that's what I've always smoked is the black label, and I love it. And then I saw this silver label, and I was like, well, that's kind of fun. I have to try that. So I'm super impressed by the silver label. I think I would smoke it and the Black Label.
Thank
But-
you, Joshua. Thank you.
That's not Joshua's
No,
name.
I'm
is-
commenting on someone else's
somebody
comments
else.
to my hat.
He said there's a gold, and I haven't had the gold, so I'll have to be sure and have it.
Okay, love it.
Yeah.
It's great. Sweet.
Kyle said he needs to try a Pauline. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I super love them. And honestly, I've had a couple of them and I smoked them and didn't really research. I didn't even know they were made by Placencia. I did not know that. But I mean, their cigars are always top notch. So that explains it. And I also like that the filler is a Cuban seed. Or was it the binder? Cuban seed wrapper. And, you know, you get most of your flavor from your cigar from the wrapper.
Yeah. Okay.
It always shocks me. Seems like it would be from the filler, but it's a Cuban seed wrapper. So you've got kind of that traditional Cuban leaf. We all know that if it's not grown in Cuba, it's going to taste different. It's going to taste different because if you take a tobacco seed from any country and grow it in another country, due to climate conditions and the soil, it's going to taste different. But it still has a little bit of that Cuban kind of traditional. I think that's kind of the earthy part I'm tasting.
Okay.
Really nice. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I really like it. So I wanted to also mention that. So this is my first show, and I'm going to. So it's every Thursday, 5:00 Pacific time, live on Facebook and YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube because YouTube, it's all about how many people subscribe to my show. So even if you don't ever want to watch me, just subscribe for me, so I don't look like.
You also have an algorithm you have to plug into. You have to have a certain, for something we're trying to expand.
Okay.
The YouTube in the next 12 months, we have to have a certain amount of viewership hours. So please share, rewatch, even if you're just at work and you play the video and walk away because you've already seen it. You know,
hey, that's a great idea.
You can always just play it or share it with people that haven't seen it because
if you can't sleep, turn it on and then
we have to have a certain amount of viewership hours as well. So anything that you watch, if you watch it all the way through or share it with new people to watch, that also helps us to have people view. So
So next week we'll go back. I'm going to go back to my regular format, and you know I had gone to Las Vegas to the TPE 21, and I met a whole bunch of cigar maker people. So I've got a whole bunch of people lined up to be on the show.
Sweet.
United Cigar, Dapper Cigar, Big Sky Cigar, Crux.
The guys in Brooklyn with the shot.
Excuse me, Brooklyn Smoke Cigars. They're going to be on. Sinistro Cigars.
Just to name a few. There's more out there.
Yeah, I have I think I have about 12 people lined up.
Plus, you have a couple people here that are in the biz that you want to do shows with. So, a lot of exciting shows.
Sometimes I have on, I'll have on actors. I'm going to have somebody on the show who's a voice actor. It's Kyle, who's been watching the show. He's a voice actor. I think that would be fun to talk to him about how that works. People who are directors, producers, I'll have them kind of intermixed with cigar people.
Yeah, that's great.
And I'm going to start doing this little segment that I'm not going to tell you what it is, but we're going to have a little
surprise segment.
Yeah, we're going to have a little segment where I ask my guest.
I thought you weren't going to tell him
a couple questions, but I'm not going to. The
you're not
questions
gonna
are
tell
a certain
him
kind.
Got it. You're not going to tell him what the questions are.
So I'm going to do that to every single guest.
Cool.
So we're going to have this little question segment. So I just have all these great people signed up, and they gave me cigars when I was at the convention. So I'll be smoking their cigars. I'll be jumping on as guests. So
nice.
It's going to be really nice to kind of introduce cigars, you guys might watch. I'll always try to say who's going to be on the following week. So I think I can safely say next week, which is the 25th, that Thursday, it is Crux. So the CEO of Crux Cigars is going to be on here. And I'm going to be smoking the Bull and Bear, which is a Wall Street term. It's either a bull market or a bear market. Anyway, that's a great cigar. Powerful. Like a power suit, but it's a power cigar. So that's who will be on next week. So that's really great. So yeah, I've got a whole bunch of guests lined up. So we'll always, yeah, so I'll have a guest and
Nice.
yeah, so it'll be pretty fun. Yeah.
So before we go, here's what happened to me today.
Oh yeah.
I got a big job on a show for NBC. I can't say the name of the show
Because it's new.
because it's new. It hasn't come out yet. I got hired on it today, and they got shut down today for.
Well, first they sent you to get a COVID test. You had to go get a
I had to go
COVID
get a
test.
COVID
So we went and
test.
did that, and then he got a
I got the
phone
job,
call.
and then a couple hours after I got the job, I got a phone call saying the production's closing down due to some health issues on set. Blah 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 blah. So I lost the job as quickly as I got the job. So close,
So
so
sad.
close to my big break.
Well, hang in there.
Yeah.
I still think they're going to figure out a way to continue to do it because
Yeah.
nobody wants to shut down a show they've already spent a ton of money on.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll happen.
So we had an exciting day,
So
but I
Joshua
haven't.
said, I love the show. So he probably won't watch it to try and fall asleep
Yeah.
because he's enjoying it. So that's good. to
Maybe
know.
some people will watch it to wake up.
Oh, so Bald Hippie said, I'm smoking the Plasencia Alma del Campo right now. Nice. This is kind of my first Plasencia. I have not smoked it before, so made by them. So I'm excited. I love every one of them so far.
Just completely randomly. There's another cool event that happens in LA on Father's Day.
Oh yeah.
It's a vintage car show.
Are they going to do it this year?
So, because Father's Day is coming up, so I was like, let's go. Well, because they canceled it last year because of COVID.
Mhm.
This year, it is not canceled, but all they are doing is just driving the cars down Rodeo Drive. So basically, it's canceled.
Oh,
But hopefully next year, if you're in town on Father's Day and you love cars, it's this really. I mean, there are some amazing. It's
like old.
It's
classics.
different than like your
Yeah.
50s, 60s car show
Yeah.
at the park. I mean, these are like
like
old
Lamborghinis,
Rolls Royces,
yeah.
old vintage racing
Bentleys.
Porsches. It's on Rodeo Drive. Rodeo Drive's like never closed for anything. So
I look really fast, and then while they're looking at the cars, I go into the Beverly Wilshire and sit at the bar.
and the bar at the Beverly Wilshire has a
Oh.
big humidor, and
Yeah,
get
you can order a
cigars there.
cigar. Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, you can pop over here to Ash because it's close by. Once the car show's over, you can
Absolutely.
come over here and finish your Father's Day with a cigar. So
That's a fun event.
that is a fun event. We know. Hey, if you are coming to LA, let us know.
Get a hold of me.
Yeah, either let us
you
know
can
on
have the Chix
Instagram.
and Sticks tour.
Yeah, and we'll suggest stuff for you to do. Or on our show, you can always tell us, hey, I'm coming into LA. What's going on? What's happening? And we'll tell you. We know a lot of the cool events that are happening.
I've only lived here, we've lived here 5 years, and people at work are always saying, you know more about this town than I do, and I've lived here my whole life.
You know what we still have to do? What is that insane place you always tell me about that I still don't believe it exists? It's some kind of a whiskey brewery that has a boat ride or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but that
Oh,
might
yeah.
be good for the show.
It's
God.
called, oh my God.
You go on a boat ride, no?
Well, you do all kinds of things.
Inside of a
You get there and you like walk through a curtain, and they have it's whiskey and rum.
Mhm.
So it's whiskey and rum tasting. And you at one point you're in a little car that goes through, and then at one point you get in a boat, you go out to this island, and this is all inside, because this is Hollywood. Anyway, you're on this little boat, you go out to this little island, you get out, you sit at this table, and they talk to you about rums, and you taste all these rums. I think they give you a little food too, because by the time you're done, you're plastered. And it's like totally inexpensive. It's like $65 or something, and you have to book it way in advance because it's so popular that it's full all the time. But you're constantly wandering. Everything is decorated. Everything is like a movie set. So you're wandering through this thing, and you taste whiskey, and they talk to you all about the process and
That's cool.
different whiskeys and rums, and yeah,
That'll be fun.
there's so many bars here like that, right? There's the Alice one, that is like was decorated by Tim Burton.
Oh yeah.
So you go in that bar, and all the girls behind the bar are just like rabbits.
Got it.
Not bunnies, rabbits.
Rabbits.
There is
Cool.
a difference.
Cool.
Still sexy, but
Yeah.
rabbits.
Cool.
So there's some just really. And you went to a bar one time too, where you went through a red curtain, and there was a lady laying on a table, and they had a burlesque show going on. Remember that?
Yeah. It's in a house, and you go to the attic, and there's like a woman of the night there, and she does this little introduction, and she pulls this lever, and her bed moves across the floor, and you walk down the stairway into the living room, dining room of the house, and there's a bar and food, and then you go out on the back patio, and they have like a tightrope walker, a fire eater, like a contortionist, blah blah blah, all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
That's on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah. So these are all these fun, like little secret things that you can do.
Don't leave the locals
Besides
out.
the going to the wax museum and all that.
There's a really cool hidden magic show at the Hollywood Roosevelt.
Oh,
You
yeah.
walk into a bookshelf, and they have a full-fledged magic show inside. That's cool.
Yeah.
There's fun stuff to do out here for sure.
Yeah. And then, so you just have to get a hold of us.
Yep.
We'll take you on a tour, and we'll end up here at Ash.
Maybe we can too in the future, not right now because we have plenty to do, but in the future, maybe we can start trying to work in some shows from these locations. That'd be fun too.
Yes, it would.
Watch our videos, get our subscribers up so we can go
Yeah,
to those
no
locations and
kidding.
do our video from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they'll be inviting us there. They'll be like, yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
Mike said, what is Ash's address?
All right, Mike, you already failed the exam because we answered this earlier. So we'll tell it one more time. 5400 block of Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh, yeah, we never put
And-
up our little banner.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did?
We've ran it a couple times, but
Oh,
I'll run it
okay.
again. 5400 block of Hollywood Boulevard, and it's in K-Town, like you said, some amazing food out here.
Thai-town.
Thai-Town, sorry.
What did you
Thai-Town.
say?
K-Town is in downtown.
Oh,
We're in
Thai-town.
Hollywood. Thai-town.
Thai-town. Yeah.
2, if you're going to a Griffith Observatory, it's extremely close to Ash. If you're
Yeah.
going to any of the Hollywood Boulevard sites, it's very close to Ash. If you're going to the Grauman's or the Roosevelt or whatever, very close. So if you're doing anything in Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
Paramount, the Day of the Dead thing at the cemetery, you're close to Ash. So it's easy to get to, which is nice.
Yeah.
We love that around here. Easy to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Sweet.
Yeah.
Wow, first
No,
show
for
back. Feels good.
I
huh?
know. It feels really good to be back because, I love doing the show. And we have a lot of fun. So you'll see, even when I do the interviews with the cigar people, I really try to, there's a lot of people are interviewed, and it's all this stuff about where are your cigars made, blah, blah, blah. You can watch those other shows for all of that. I really try to get behind the people. Like, what's your story? That was one thing I was amazed at when I was at the TPE show and talking to these guys is every cigar company has,
Amazing stories.
every single person I talked to had some kind of cool story behind starting their cigars.
And not just stories behind their brand or their company, but individual stories behind the individual cigars
That as well.
I mean,
Yeah.
some of these brands have Mike G is a good example of a great backstory behind the brand, a great backstory behind the cigar, and a great cigar,
Yeah.
So, the Mike G Super Connecticut, that's kind of becoming my go-to cigar. I have to
I know,
say.
for a lot of people.
I used to be a Macanudo guy, but the Mike G Super Connecticut's kind of
Yeah.
my go-to right now. I
it's
have
one of
them in
those-
stock all the time, and if I don't, I'm
And
like,
he'll
Mike, I need
be
cigars.
a guest on because I had him on one of my shows on the other platform, but we weren't live for the whole first half hour. So we missed out on all his really cool stories. So he'll be a guest on again too.
Well, and I don't want to. I want to leave all the glory to Mike, so I don't want to divulge too much. But I'm sure we'll be having a show where we go and visit him somewhere where he's doing some stuff. Right in the future, we'll be going to Mike at a location where he will be in the near coming future.
Oh yeah.
Right. I don't want to make any announcement because that's Mike's thing, but we will probably go get to visit him.
I think
somewhere.
he wants you to announce it. He needs all the publicity. Like, he doesn't care.
Oh, he's still here.
He's opening a lounge.
There's a bunch of people in the corner waving at us like, Mike's still here. Mike, come over here.
We'll have him come and
come over here. I thought you were, I didn't see you.
Yeah, he's opening a lounge.
Oh, yeah.
Hop in.
You want in the middle?
Yeah. I'll get down here.
So what's going on with you, Mike?
I feel short. Okay. Get up.
For the first time ever you feel short?
Let's see.
Tell us, Mike. Fill us
So
in.
we're looking at the end of this month. Fingers crossed, because we're still doing the framework and flooring, but we're going to be at the Westin Bonaventure Hotel. It's the old Suede Ultra Lounge. If you guys remember back in the day, we have a smoking patio. We are going to carry the full Macallan Scotch line, and super excited. You guys will be there for the grand opening.
Not to brag, but we've had a little bit of a preview of the location, and we enjoyed ourselves there. It's really cool. It's a really cool spot.
So I'm super stoked. We're finally, since we're supposed to open before COVID, and we're just now barely able to get going this month. So
Sweet. What would be really fun is if we went live.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
grand opening.
please.
And then all the people that are there for the grand opening can jump on and say hi, and they can meet a lot of other SoCal.
We got to save time to party
Photos.
too. We can't just have you on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we'll do both. Yeah.
I'll be partying while I'm live.
And what is the
They'll
name of
really
the lounge
enjoy
again?
that.
It's called The Firm.
The Firm. And there's a story to that as well, which, we can
Right.
dive into it. So,
Because it was made by 4 porn stars. And no, that's horrible. They're watching this. They're probably like, way to class it up, Mike. No, they're 4 attorneys that came together, and they used to have their trainings at the Bonaventure Hotel. So now all 4 of them are successful. They have their own businesses, their own firms. They're doing their own stuff. So they came together and said, let's do a Scotch bar called The Firm. And one of the partners came to me and said, hey, would you like to do cigars out of here? So I lucked out, happened to be at the right place, right time.
And the location is kind of a lucky spot because it's grandfathered in to have both.
We're one of the few with only I think maybe 1 or 2 other places there that you can actually order a hard drink and have a cigar.
Sweet.
So downtown LA.
So
Super excited.
come to LA because we got 2 great lounges opening up to the public, Ash and The Firm. I mean, 2 really great venues in 2 really great locations.
Yeah, and there's like
ran
2
by
or
really cool
there's
people,
like 2 or 3 other lounges in the Southern California area that just opened up.
Cool.
I mean, lounges are opening
Yeah.
up like.
We're excited for
good.
you, Mike. We're excited.
Yeah.
Especially during COVID, a lot of them shut down, but
Yeah.
coming back up. More people coming out there and opening some stuff. So.
And the lounges are getting a little more swanky,
Yes.
a little more fancy with the decor.
Mike's
not
spot
really,
is
More
not
ladies,
really fancy,
more
but
lady
just
smokers too.
yeah.
Which actually helps class things up a bit. So.
Yeah.
You know, us guys, we'll smoke in someone's garage.
Right.
If there's some drinks and some sticks, we'll sit on the cooler and have fun. But
I always say I'm ready to go to a lounge where the Naga hide isn't ripped in the easy chair.
it's
You know,
like 80% of the lounges.
right?
And
There's a
Mike,
big
when we
rip
go
in
to
the
the
seat.
Firm, can we get the Mike G Super Connecticut there? Will it be
Yes.
offered? Wonderful.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm in. Yes.
And hopefully we should have our coffee available. So you'll be getting some of those for the show to review. And
Is it Mike G coffee?
It's a super roast made
What?
by Mike G.
Damn.
I've had it for a while. I haven't released it because the price points were just not there for shipping.
Okay.
Because by the time I get it from the roasters and then packaging and then shipping and handling, it's like there's no profit. It costs me. So I'm still figuring out a way to do it. But we will have that for you guys to sample and also be available in our lounge. And hopefully lounges here coming soon.
I think we're gonna have to work on a Chix and Sticks roast.
Yeah. sexy roast.
The great thing is, if you're when you come to LA, you're going to end up in downtown LA naturally. So you can go to Mike's, to the Firm. And then when you end up in Hollywood on your same trip, you can come here to Ash.
Absolutely.
And it's fun because now, kind of like bar hopping, you can kind of cigar lounge hop. They're close enough. You can come to both. You can enjoy the different offerings at both locations. And you can make a whole day of it.
Or even better yet, you stay at the Westin Bonaventure Hotel.
There you go.
If you're out of town.
There you go.
You have the lounge there, but while you're out here
Around
doing
stuff on Ash,
you come down to Ash to look at all the
Hollywood craziness. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you go back home, and we're open until midnight. You can have another nightcap before you go to bed.
Love it. I love it. Awesome. I'm glad we bumped into you.
Yes, I'm glad you guys are here. That just like came. It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know.
Although I low key stalk your mom, so.
Kyle said, "Congratulations."
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we're very excited.
Kyle has a show too. It's called Dad's Smoking Cigars, and it's on YouTube.
Nice.
And it's a great show that he does, and sometimes his dad is on there.
Oh, I love that.
It's
that's
the original
cool.
Dad Smoking Cigars, and they sit side by side, and they look kind of alike. They're very similar personalities too, and it's a great show.
When does the show air?
Tell us, Kyle.
And are you doing a Father's Day special?
I don't always watch
Father's
it
Day
live. I
coming
go
up?
back and watch it later. So
Cigar
let's see if
Adventure
he's. Oh, Cigar Adventure. Sorry, just joined.
Cigar Adventure, you don't work. What are you?
He's at work.
Instagram.
Are you in an emergency room with a body part?
he's having the corpse hold a stick for him.
Yeah. Stick it between his toes.
He's like, no, don't get me fired. I'm doing none of that. Yeah. Cool. All right.
Okay.
Well, I'll let you guys finish
Thanks,
up
Mike.
here.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Mike.
Okay, nice to see you. Well, so we didn't know what night Kyle does his show, but if you just go onto YouTube, Dad's Smoking Cigars.
Cool. Oh, I want to check that out. That sounds really cool.
Then you can see what days he's on as a regular show. And then he also jumps on live on Instagram, so you can follow him on Instagram too. And sometimes he jumps on live and does a cigar review too. And he's great.
Love it.
Even when he's by himself, he's just like,
Going.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, he's
Like
really
you.
good. And he's the voice actor too, so he's got this great voice, So when I have him on, I'm going to make him do all these impressions.
Yes. I
And
love
so
it.
we'll have,
We'll
you
throw
guys
it.
can,
We'll throw it.
you guys
Throw it
can
out.
request, what do you
Oh.
want to hear?
I'm gonna
I
start
always make him
thinking
do
now.
Jack Sparrow, and I'm
Okay.
always like, do Jack Sparrow and make him say, "Oh, Chix and Sticks." It's so hot.
Yes.
In Jack Sparrow's voice, it's pretty awesome.
Cool. I love
Yeah.
it. Awesome.
So we'll do that. Oh,
Anything else, anybody, before we hop off here and let you guys get back to your evening? And we're going to enjoy ourselves here at Ash a little longer, have some more sticks.
yeah. Thank you so much for joining. I'm sorry that there was so much downtime, but I had to kind of decide what platform I was going to be using and get that all set up. And then I had to do my intro and film that. And in the meantime, life was going on. So it just took me a little bit of time, but we're up and running. We'll be every Thursday at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Central time. So, yeah. And I have like I said, I have all these guests lined up, cigar makers, actors, producers. So
Bob
I'm
Hickman's
very
already
excited.
looking forward to more. Thank you.
Yay!
And here's Kyle's answer. He says he posts a new video every week, so that's good. You came up with them every
Oh,
week.
he has something called Fresh Review Friday. So I know he does that every Friday.
Love it.
So like him on Instagram and look up Dad's Smoking Cigars on YouTube.
So before we go, we have one more thing.
What?
Well, it's not before we go. As we go, we have one more new thing to reveal.
What?
Well, what do you have at the beginning of your show?
Oh,
You also have...
a nice little, it's kind of like what they call in the movie business, the kiss goodnight. Sometimes when you watch a movie and then the words go by and everybody leaves the theater, but you stay because you're really interested in who the
After
director
the credits.
was, and you're really interested in seeing the credits. And then after the credits go by, boop, there's a little bit of action.
Little tease. Yeah.
That's called the kiss goodnight.
Nice.
So because I use lips for all of my symbols on everything. I had to have a kiss goodnight.
Absolutely.
So,
Cool.
you know what I always say when we sign off? Be kind and keep chasing your stars. And now you can watch the kiss goodnight, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great week, everybody.